I am 83 years old, and I'm sitting here in the dim afternoon light that comes through curtains I haven't washed in probably 5 years. My hands shake. Arthritis. But they're shaking worse right now because I'm holding something that weighs about as much as a feather and feels heavier than every mistake I ever made. It's a photograph. Faded. The edges are curled up like they're trying to get away from what they show. Two young people on a park bench. Her smile is so bright it still shows through even though her face is worn nearly transparent. My arm is around her shoulders, but it's stiff, awkward, like I was afraid someone might see me being soft. I've folded and unfolded this photograph so many times over the years that she's disappearing. Literally. Her features are fading from the center where the crease runs through. The paper smells old, musty, like regret left in a drawer for 60 years. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you about the worst mistake a man can make, and it's not the one you think. It's not cheating. It's not losing money. It's not even dying alone, though that's where it ends up. The worst mistake is convincing yourself that being right matters more than being loved. That's what I did. And I'm here to tell you it's a lie that will hollow you out until there's nothing left but an old man and a photograph. The clock on my wall just chimed. 4 o'clock. I've got maybe 10 years left if I'm lucky. Maybe 10 minutes if I'm not. Either way, it's too late for me. But maybe not for you. Let me take you back. 1957. I was 24 years old and I thought I knew everything. I was in engineering school, second year, top of my class. I had plans, big ones. I was going to build bridges, design skyscrapers, make something of myself. I was hungry for respect, starving for it, really, because I grew up with nothing and I was determined to be somebody. Her name was Sarah. She'd wait for me on the same park bench outside the engineering building every Tuesday and Thursday after my structures class. She'd bring sandwiches wrapped in wax paper. She'd have this patient smile like she had all the time in the world, and the only thing she wanted to do with it was spend it with me. I can still smell her perfume. Lavender. She wore it every single day. And I hated it. Not the smell itself. I hated what it represented. Softness, vulnerability, surrender. See, I believed something back then that I thought was wisdom, but was actually poison. I believed that being right was more important than being close. I believed that winning arguments meant you were winning at life. I believed that if you let someone see you break, if you let them in too deep, you were weak. Sarah wanted me to be present. I offered her potential instead. Every conversation became a debate. Every disagreement became a war I had to win. She'd reach for my hand across that park bench and ask me to just listen, to just be there with her. And I'd pull my hand away and explain why my 5-year plan couldn't include distractions. I'd cite logic, principles, my future. I'd talk about how successful men don't get derailed by emotions, how I needed to focus, how she needed to understand that I was doing this for us. Except I wasn't. I was doing it for my ego. When she'd get quiet, when I'd see tears in her eyes, I'd tell myself she was being too emotional, too sensitive, that she just didn't understand what it took to make something of yourself in this world. I'd convince myself that real men built empires, not emotional intimacy. That her feelings were an obstacle to overcome, not a gift to cherish. The smell of that lavender perfume became the smell of surrender to me, and I refused to surrender. I chose pride, every single time. She stopped reaching for my hand sometime in early 1959, stopped bringing sandwiches, stopped waiting on that bench. And when she told me she couldn't do it anymore, that she needed someone who actually wanted to be with her and not just near her, I told her she was making a mistake. I told her she'd regret walking away from a man with my potential. I actually said that. I let her go, told myself I dodged a bullet. Told myself I could focus now, build my career, become someone important. And I did. I built a career, got my engineering degree, worked on 3 major bridges on the East Coast, got awards, got respect, got everything I thought I wanted. I also got married 3 times. 3 different women who weren't Sarah. Good women. They deserved better than what I gave them, which was the same thing I gave Sarah. Potential instead of presence. Logic instead of love. I'd come home late, exhausted, and when they'd ask me to talk, really talk, I'd tell them about stress calculations and load-bearing requirements. They'd ask me to be vulnerable, and I'd cite statistics. They all left. No children. I was too busy, too focused, too committed to being right. Last Tuesday, I found her. Took me 3 days of searching online, calling old classmates, bothering people who barely remembered me. I found out she'd been in a nursing home about 40 miles from where I live now. Isn't that something? 40 miles. For 58 years, we were probably never more than 100 miles apart, and I never looked. I drove there on a Tuesday. I don't know why that matters, but it does. Tuesday. The same day she used to wait for me on that bench. The nursing home hallway smelled like disinfectant trying to cover up the smell of boiled vegetables and old age. The fluorescent lights hummed. Everything was beige, beige walls, beige floors, beige despair. I walked slowly because my legs aren't what they used to be, and also because I was terrified. Room 14B. The door was open. She was sitting in a chair by the window, looking out at a parking lot. Her hair was silver. Beautiful, actually. She was smaller than I remembered, more fragile, but I'd know the shape of her anywhere. I said her name. Sarah. She turned slowly. Her eyes were clouded, confused. She looked at me for what felt like an hour, but was probably 10 seconds. And then, for just a moment, I saw recognition flash across her face. Her eyes cleared, her mouth opened slightly. She whispered, "You came." 2 words. 60 years of waiting in 2 words. I stepped into that room and the smell hit me. Not lavender, disinfectant and old carpet and sadness. I sat down in the chair next to her and I took her hand. It was so small, so soft. I opened my mouth to say everything I'd rehearsed in the car, the apologies, the explanations, the "I was wrong and you were right" speech I'd been preparing for 6 decades. But before I could get a word out, the confusion came back into her eyes. She smiled at me, polite, distant. "Are you the music teacher?" she asked. My heart stopped. "No, Sarah, it's me. It's William, from college, from the park bench. Remember? You used to bring sandwiches, and I was studying engineering, and we'd talk about everything, and I was stupid, so incredibly stupid, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have chosen you. I should have held your hand. I should have smelled your perfume and said thank you instead of running away. I loved you. I love you. I never stopped. I just didn't know how to say it, and now I'm here, and I know it's late, but I'm here." She stared at me, smiled again. That same polite, vacant smile. "That's nice, dear. Do you know when lunch is?" A nurse appeared behind me, touched my shoulder gently. "Good days are rare now," she said quietly. "Most of the time she doesn't recognize her own sister." I sat there for another 20 minutes. Sarah looked out the window. I held her hand. She didn't pull away, but she didn't hold back either. It was like holding air. When I left, I went to my car and I cried for the first time in 40 years. Not quiet tears, the kind of crying that comes from your stomach, the kind that hurts. I'd waited 58 years. I'd waited until there was no memory left to forgive me. No recognition left to receive my apology. No Sarah left to love me back. Now that photograph sits on my kitchen table. I look at it every morning while my instant coffee gets cold. Steam rises past those 2 young fools in the picture, the ones who had everything and didn't know it. I trace her face with my finger, following the worn crease down the middle. The evidence that I've looked at this picture thousands of times over the years. You know what that means? It means I thought about her, constantly. I'd pull this photograph out of whatever drawer I was hiding it in, look at it, remember her, feel something crack inside my chest, and then fold it back up and tell myself I'd made the right choice. Tell myself that my career mattered more, that being right mattered more. My engineering awards are in a box in the closet, gathering dust. I couldn't tell you where half of them are. But I know exactly where this photograph is every second of every day. The silence in my apartment is complete, total. I can hear the refrigerator hum. I can hear my own breathing. That's it. No children laughing, no wife asking about my day, no Sarah humming while she makes dinner. Nothing. This photograph whispers the truth to me every single day. She saw me. Not my potential, not my plans, not the man I was trying to become. She saw me exactly as I was, with all my fears and insecurities and rough edges, and she loved that person. She didn't want me to be successful. She wanted me to be present. She didn't want my logic. She wanted my heart. And I traded that for what? Some bridges? Some awards? The privilege of dying alone? You. Yes, you, watching this right now. You think you have time. You don't. Right now, today, this minute, there is someone in your life who sees you, really sees you. Not your Instagram version, not your potential, not who you could be if you just worked harder or made more money or finally got your life together. They see you, exactly as you are, and they love that person. And you're choosing something else. Maybe it's your pride, your need to be right in every argument, your career, your image, your fear of being vulnerable, your ego. Whatever it is, you're choosing it over love, and you're telling yourself it's the smart choice, the mature choice, the responsible choice. It's not. It's the choice that leads to 83 years old and a faded photograph and silence so complete you can hear your heart breaking in slow motion. I had 58 years to go back. 58 years to swallow my pride, pick up the phone, write a letter, drive 40 miles, do something. And I waited. I waited until she couldn't remember my name. You don't have 58 years. You might not have 58 days. Put down your phone. Walk away from whatever argument you're winning that doesn't matter. Swallow your pride. It tastes bitter, I know, but not as bitter as regret. Choose love over being right. Choose presence over potential. Choose now, because 80 comes faster than you can possibly imagine. And when you get here, that photograph in your drawer won't be enough. It will never be enough. Go, now.